Chide me, O Lord, no longer, nor chasten me in anger. In mercy hear my groans. O Lord, see how I languish. Heal thou my bitter anguish, for troubled are my bones.
We're continuing our study of the larger Catechism. We are looking at the first section, which we have entitled The Doctrine of General and Special Revelation. This is installment number 6. We are looking at question number 2. How does it appear that there is a God? The divines answered, the very light of nature in man, the works of God, declare plainly that there is a God. But his word and spirit only do sufficiently and effectually reveal him unto men for their salvation. We are told in Psalm 19 in verses 1 through 3, the heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament shows his handiwork. Day unto day utters speech, and night unto night reveals knowledge. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. Last Lord's Day, we examined the first clause of this answer, and we spoke about the essence of what they meant by the light of nature in man, that innate knowledge that God has placed in man as being in his image. The second area that they also identify as general revelation is the second clause here, the works of God. By the phrase works of God, the divines were referring to the way God reveals himself in the created order of the physical universe, other than that revelation of himself in the light of man. Thus, the works are inclusive of all things that are external to man. Thus, our text, Psalm 19, in verses 1 through 3. However, you must keep in mind that the interpretation of this created order of the physical universe is still dependent upon the creature having been created in the image of God. Man is a thinking, reasoning being, endowed, we are told, with righteousness, holiness, and knowledge. It is man who, as the subject, must read, or if you will, interpret the testimony of God's teleological intent. That is, the purpose of the cosmos as it is being spoken of here in Psalm 19, as identified with those external works of creation. In essence, what we're saying is one cannot and does not understand creation apart from man in the image of God. We can never consider the concept of a revelation from creation apart from man who is a part of that general created order. Adam was sufficiently equipped in the context of his existence to rightfully interpret creation, since he was in a right standing with his Creator. And his pre-fall epistemological condition was not yet corrupted by sin. Adam, therefore, as the image of God, could rightfully, prior to the fall, interpret the created order of things as they were intended to give testimony to him. If the external creation was to be that testimony to man about God, the key essential element still remains what? Man as the image of God. For it is man who, as we said, is in the image of God, a thinking and reasoning being. Creation does not think or reason. Only man as the image of God. Further, we must also consider that the extent of what was sufficient then in the state of innocence, which did not need to be as comprehensive, nor as specific as it needs to be now after the fall, because Adam was then in that state of innocence with a true union and communion with his Creator. All of this knowledge, as we are considering the pre-fall epistemological scheme of things, was clearly limited in content as revealed in the created order of God, since the innate knowledge of God was operative in man in the garden without restriction, yet not exhaustive, due to, though, eventual moral corruption. Therefore, the content of the knowledge of God concerning the creation was not nearly as revealing as some have tried to make it out to be. Again, who is doing the revealing? God, in that he created man in his image, and therefore it is man interacting with the content of God's creation. That knowledge, therefore, that man is capable of interacting with creation is also propositional knowledge. But again, let me state, that knowledge is limited then, prior to the fall, and even more so now after the fall. Now, the essential elements of this created order of all things that exist externally to man should be identified as follows. First, the plant and the tree realm of creation. Second, the animal kingdom. Third, the heavens and the universe. This external testimony of the works of creation can rightfully be described as intelligent design, though not in the way that is used today by some creation scientists. Because after the fall, that is, its testimony concerning God, his power, his existence, his wisdom, continues to be a witness to man. But we must remember that man cannot now, after the fall into sin, rightfully interpret it any longer, since his context has changed and his knowledge and morality has been corrupted. Therefore, we say that the rational order of the universe, the created order of all things, yes, they do testify to God's existence, power, and his deity. But these are manifested to the mind of man, who is the interpreter, but is also subject to the responsibility of that which is revealed. Thus, man is to reflect upon the created order of things through the light of nature. Thus, one must be accompanying the other. God's existence is manifest, we say, in the rational order and purpose, that it continues as a testimony that a creator greater than the order has determined the teleological intent of all things that exist. God's power is manifest as the efficient cause, demonstrating the outworking of all the created order as it continues in its predetermined pattern, cycle, or order. God's deity continues to testify to the providential control of all things, to their intended purpose as related to historical significance. These are a testimony. They serve and continue to serve as a witness against man. It is not these testimonies that have become corrupted. It is man who is corrupted, who in the pre-fall epistemological condition could rightfully then, in the context of which Adam was in his estate of innocence, rightfully think the thoughts of God, having the mind of Christ, as it were, in the context of his existence then. Again, there is a difference in Adam. Correctly reading this testimony of God's existence, power, and deity prior to man's fall into sin. However, after the fall, the testimony, still remaining true, serves as, the divines say, as a witness against man. But man cannot, and he will not, any longer interpret these testimonies to God as originally intended by God rightfully when he was in the garden prior to his existence. Now, what the divines are laying here, and we're going to take time to go through this for quite a few weeks, is to demonstrate the absolute necessity of God revealing himself through supernatural revelation as we know it today, contained in the Word of God. Let us therefore contemplate these things. They are weighty matters. But just keep this in mind in summary. The universe clearly demonstrates that there is an intelligent design to everything that exists. But the key element of interpreting that is man being created in the image of God. But because of sin, that image has corrupted our knowledge in standing before God. Our morality has gone through a change. And man, apart from regeneration now, after the fall, cannot rightfully interpret the Word. As a matter of fact, he will not. We are told by the Apostle Paul in Romans chapter 1, he will pervert the truth of that testimony of the works of creation and even the inward innate knowledge that he has as the light of nature, being created in the image of God. He will pervert it to foreign gods. He will pervert it to creatures and beasts and make images. He will not believe in the God of the Bible.
Chide me, O Lord, no longer, nor chasten me in anger. In mercy hear my groans. O Lord, see how I languish. Heal thou my bitter anguish, for troubled are my bones. My soul is troubled greatly. O hasten thou to aid me. Why dost thou tarry, Lord? Turn back and show thy favor. Me in thy love deliver, according to thy word. How can the dead adore thee, or bring their thanks before thee, or praise thy holy name? I'm weary with my moaning, worn out with constant groaning, and overcome with shame.